Hey everybody, Ken Krawchuk here, Libertarian for Pennsylvania Governor. Thanks for tuning into this week's 8 p.m. Wednesday live stream. It's been a fun week, traveling all over the state, talking to a lot of people about a lot of things. But one thing that's caught people's attention, it's caught on Facebook, it's caught it when I'm talking to people in person, my 12-step plan to reform Pennsylvania. So on the back of my flyer, this is the flyer that I've been handing out to everybody as I'm traveling the state. And it's got 12 main points, what I hope to accomplish as governor of Pennsylvania. What I'd like to do is talk about each of the 12, maybe spend a minute on them, try and keep myself down to a minute. Good luck, right? See if my Toastmaster skills pay off. Just to highlight for you what you can expect from a Libertarian governor once I get signed in, sworn in, come January of 2019. Ready? Number one, veto all tax increases. Taxes are way too high. Taxes are high because spending is high. Spending is high because they love the glad hand of your money. In fact, the cost of government in Pennsylvania has been rising at, on average, more than 3 times the rate of inflation for over 50 years. Well, the Constitution for Pennsylvania gives the governor the power of the veto. And I'm promising I'm going to veto every single tax increase that crosses my desk. That way, the growth of the cost of government in Pennsylvania is going to stop. That trend will end. There's number one. Hey, I'm staying a minute each. Number two, aggressively use the line item veto. Again, a power granted to the governor by the Constitution. What it means is that I can go through any bill and cross out any individual line that I don't like. Like, say, for example, the $400 million that's budgeted annually to the horse racing industry, gone. Why are we supporting horse racing anyway? So we'll be able to cut taxes by $400 million, right off the bat. Special interest money, boondoggles, pork. One of the greatest examples of pork are the tens of millions of dollars that we pay every year for the beauty contest. You know that Pennsylvania's paying for a beauty contest? It's called the Democratic and Republican primaries. Why should independents? What? There's like 20% of Pennsylvanians are independent. Whole bunch of libertarians, Greens, constitutionalists, communists, all sorts of other people paying for their beauty contest. Why are we paying for that? Line item veto, gone, gone, gone. The illegal registry of guns that the state police like to have, no funding for that. DUI checkpoints, Gestapo-like things, funding for that, gone. Instead, we're going to use roving patrols, which are much more effective, and they respect your constitutional rights. I think I spent my minute on that. Line item veto. Aggressively use that. Look forward to that. Number three, phase out the personal income tax. With all these savings that we're going to be realizing from the line item veto and vetoing tax increases, we're going to be able to phase that out over the course of 4 years. It's not something you can kill in just 1 year because it's pretty pervasive. So it's going to take several years that we're just going to cut, gone. Number four, this is the worst. This is probably what I get the biggest earful of when I'm out around the state. Number four, abolish property taxes. Property taxes are the absolute worst tax that there is. And it's going to be an easy thing to do. Mostly property taxes go to pay for schools. But you know, I looked around my local Abington area and schools cost $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, up to about $10,000, $13,000 a year. Now, leaving out the exclusive schools is about $13,000 a year, max. Average is about $9,000. I then took the Abington School District budget, same area, divided the number of students into the total budget. It came out well over $20,000 a year per kid, as compared to $9,000 for private schools. If we privatize the schools, we could cut property taxes in half overnight. And there are other savings that we could do, but I'm not going to fit it all into 1 minute. Let's see. Number five, end the state monopoly on education. That's one of the reasons why property taxes are so high, because there's a monopoly on education. 95% of all kids in Pennsylvania go to the same school, the government schools. Unlike any monopoly, costs are high, choice is low, and the quality, it's not always the best. I'm going to introduce competition into those schools by bringing somebody who's been left out for far too long, the parents. Specifically, I'm going to allow parents to choose any government school for their child and the funding which would have gone to their local school will follow the child to the school of the parent's choice. That way, good schools grow and get more money, and the bad schools put on notice that they're going to be shut down. So for the same educational dollar, we can improve education dramatically, and not improve, in my opinion, or some unelected Board of Education in Harrisburg. It's going to improve in the opinion of the people who matter most, the parents. There you go. That was number 5. End the state monopoly on education. Number 6, eliminate parole for violent criminals. Now, this is another no-brainer. I'm surprised I haven't done this before. The Commonwealth Foundation in Harrisburg did a study, and they found out that 95% of all crimes are committed by only 5% of the criminals. So if we keep these people in jail, these violent criminals, to the end of their sentence, we are guaranteed to reduce crime. It's an easy one. Now, true, I hear there's a lot of people in there who don't belong in prison. And I'm thinking of my buddy Mark, who was off his medication and wound up in jail for a long stint. Something like that, we look at those on a case-by-case basis. We use the power of the pardon and commutation of sentences to take care of people who really need medical help, people who are a social issue, not really a criminal issue. But in general, number 6, eliminate parole for violent criminals. Reduce crime that way. Number 7, again, we use power granted by the Constitution. Pardon all nonviolent drug offenders. This is something I'm going to do my first day in office. I'm going to get that ball rolling. Pot smokers don't belong in prison. It's reached a point now where our overcrowded prisons are so bad, they're releasing murderers and rapists to make room for pot-smoking Grateful Dead fans. It's insane. Day 1, I'm going to get that ball rolling to get those people out of there. They don't belong in jail. We should use those prisons for something more worthwhile. People who, we know there are some people who do belong in a cage. And that's what I'll be doing that for. And we'll be saving money. It's what, $40,000 a year to keep a pot smoker in prison? That's insane. I should send a bill to my 2 opponents because both of them just doubled down on the drug war. In fact, one of them wants to start killing drug dealers. Isn't there enough death with this opioid crisis? I could talk, excuse me, I could talk more about that one. I have a plan to reduce opioid deaths by 85%. Visit my website, kenkforpa.com, to read about that. And they're doubling down on it. Okay, number 9, decriminalize marijuana. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped one. I did number 7, pardon non-violent drug offenders. Number 8, defuse the abortion debate. A lot of people come up and say, oh, come on, Ken, how are you going to defuse the abortion debate? Easy. People say, are you pro-life or pro-choice? I smile and I say, yes. Because all it would take is one little change to the abortion law to make both sides happy. And that is to allow for prenatal adoption. That means if a woman does not want her unborn child, anyone could step forward and adopt it while it's still in the womb. Now, of course, since they're adopting it, they're going to pay for the delivery. Through the privacy of the doctor, they can ask the woman, please bring it to term, because we're going to pay for the delivery. And the woman can say yes or no. That's pro-choice. And a lot of babies are aborted for economic reasons. So if she says yes, we've just saved one baby. Since babies are aborted for economic reasons, we are guaranteed to reduce the number of abortions and guaranteed to preserve a woman's right to choose. And there are more options behind that. I'll call it pro-option. But there are a lot more alternatives behind that. But it all stems from that one thing, prenatal adoption. Visit the website, kenkforpa.com, for more information about that one. Now, up to number 9, decriminalize marijuana. I actually started talking about this one a minute ago. Other states have done this, and the world hasn't ended. Our daughter lives in Seattle. That's one of the free states. Nobody really cares, you know? And it's proven to be a moneymaker for the state as well. Right now, the tax on marijuana in Pennsylvania, it's infinite. They take away your house, your car, your life savings, everything. Well, I work to reduce that infinity down to something, anything lower. And the extra money that's left over, we'll use that to retire the property tax. There you go. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, right? But I'm going to decriminalize marijuana. Both my opponents are against decriminalizing marijuana. I can't believe it. What are these guys smoking? Cut me a break. All right. That was number 9, decriminalize marijuana. Number 10, defend the right to keep and bear arms. This is another no-brainer. President Obama commissioned the CDC, Center for Disease Control, in Atlanta to study the gun issue. Now, a lot of gun people says, oh, why is the CDC doing that? Guns aren't a disease. But it's a good thing they did, because they found all sorts of interesting things. They found that there is no evidence that gun control laws stop gun violence. No evidence that background checks slow down bad guys getting guns in their hands. No evidence, this, that, and the other thing. All those things that these anti-gun people are talking about, no evidence was found. What they did find is that people use guns defensively much, much more often than offensively. So to sum it up in 2 sentences, guns save lives and gun control kills. And also, my job description, Pennsylvania Constitution, Article 1, Section 21, the right to bear arms shall not be questioned. None of this well-regulated malicious stuff. This is our Constitution. The right shall not be questioned. I have no question what that means. That was number 10, defend the right to keep and bear arms. Number 11, supporting all varieties of marriage. Now, this is another no-brainer. Why is the state involved in marriage? Who is the governor to stand in the way of true love? Well, what I want to do is I want to have the separation of marriage and state. And when I'm governor, that's exactly what's going to happen. Do you know how marriage licenses first came about? They were created to prevent interracial marriages. I'll address a black audience and I say that and they'll say, uh-huh, uh-huh. I'll go to a regular, white audience and they'll say, no, yeah, it's true. They're using today those same racist techniques against LGBTs. I'm against that. I think if you want to get married, you go ahead and get married, and that's it. If you want to combine your affairs, right of survivorship, the right of child custody, medical power of attorney, legal power of attorney, co-owning of property, whatever you want, you can do that. And the role of the government is only to defend those contracts against fraud and one person trying to stiff you or something like that. That's it. Government should get completely 100% out of the marriage business, and you can marry whoever you want or not want, or as many people as you want. None of the government's business. That was number 11, support all varieties of marriage. Number 12, we're getting to the end of this. Reform the costly welfare state. Do you know that over 80% of Pennsylvania's budget goes for giveaway programs? And it keeps going up and up and up all the time. It's insane. As governor, I have an interesting approach on how to do this. I support the Universal Charitable Credit Act. What that does, it allows you, the taxpayer, to choose the charity of your choice. And dollar for dollar, you can earmark your taxes. Instead of going to some special interest, it'll go to your charity and you can deduct it dollar for dollar off your state income tax. So that way it's you deciding who gets help. If you think the schools need more pencils, you could buy them more pencils. If you think that seniors deserve more support for their prescription drugs, you can earmark your dollars that way. If you think just horse racing deserves it, well, I already said I'm going to be line item vetoing that. That doesn't even belong in the government. I'm going to have separation of horses and state as well. But the point is, a lot of advantages in the bureaucracy. I know some of you are smiling because you know what I do and I talk about that, but I'm not going to do that now. Because I said I'm only going to spend a minute on each one, and I did. Veto all tax increases, number 1. Aggressively use the line item veto. Phase out the personal income tax. Abolish property taxes. End the state monopoly on education. Eliminate parole for violent criminals. Pardon all nonviolent drug offenders. Defuse the abortion debate. Decriminalize marijuana. Defend the right to keep and bear arms. Support all varieties of marriage. And reform the costly welfare state. You're not going to find another candidate who's going to support things like that. Do you know why I'm supporting these things? Because I'm a libertarian. I believe you have the right to live your life your way without interference, provided only you respect the rights and property of others. It's the golden rule on a political level. Do you believe you have the right to live your life your way, provided you respect others? I ask that question everywhere I go, and virtually every hand goes up. If you truly believe that, then I ask you, please vote for me, Ken Krawchuk, Libertarian for Pennsylvania governor. Because if you keep on voting the way you've been voting, you're going to keep on getting just what you've been getting. And that's why I'm running, because I have had enough. Visit my website, kenkforpa.com. We'll see you next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Same bat time, same bat channel. Take care.